Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. We are starting to see some winter precipitation across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley as expected. And we're looking at the Mount Magazine cam right now, and it is a winter wonderland to say the least. A lot of snow falling. We've been watching it over the last couple of hours. Kind of started off as just a little bit of light flurries, and now that's definitely a step above it right now in the higher elevations of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And we're starting to see that changeover occur pretty quickly in some of those areas that are a little bit more elevated right now. Though some places in northwest Arkansas, especially, are not seeing precipitation at this time. But let's take a look at Mega Doppler right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch it to Mega Doppler. And as you can see there, map's pretty active. Radar's pretty active at this current time. You might be living in the Bentonville, Fayetteville area, and you see this map and you say, well, I'm not seeing any precipitation over my area right now. And Dan Scoff has just now joined the live stream, and he will tell you why that is.
Yeah, temperatures are just a little too on the warm side. But, just to let you know that it doesn't take a lot on the roads for people to wipe out, including precipitation. So if the roads can get a little slick, and that could happen pretty quick. In fact, let me show you our iDrive Arkansas camera. And so this is a look at what's happening right now. Let's pop that up, and you'll be able to see that. Yeah, it's snowing. So this is, by the way, mile marker 45, and this is on I-49. This is very close to the Bobby Hopper Tunnel as you are traveling north, just a little north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. So that's a look at that snow that's coming down. However, temperatures are a little warm in the mid to upper 40s. So that's just not going to do it. Now, we're starting to see snow across parts of northwest Arkansas. That's why we wanted to do this Facebook Live. Let us know what you're seeing. Are you seeing snow right now? So that's something that we're going to continue to have to watch. And we got more precipitation on the way, but there's also the dry slot coming as well. The good old dreaded dry slot.
The Colby effect dry slot.
Chris, what's the update? Nothing? Spitting? It is. All right.
Okay.
I said go outside now and let's see what's happening.
Well,
so we've got flurries in Fayetteville.
Here's the thing, Dan. If we go back to Mega Doppler real quick.
Let's do it.
I want to point this out. That heavier band of precipitation that moved through Washington County and now moving into southern Benton County, that's going to help the snow potential a little bit because it's going to kind of quicken the evaporative cooling a little bit.
West Fork has no snow, but I got a tweet showing a ton of snow.
Yeah, it was snowing pretty hard.
That could have been from an earlier system, potentially. You never know. But that's why we wanted to join this Facebook Live early, let you know what's happening. Your evening commute is fine as of now. However, that pink and purple that's showing up, that's actually moderate to heavy snow. So we're going to take a look here at some of the temperatures. First of all, the winter weather advisory. Now, I know you're saying no snow in East Rogers. That's what you mean right now. It doesn't mean overall. Everybody is going to see snow.
It's coming.
In fact, the winter weather advisory has been expanded, and it includes basically all of northwest Arkansas now. So we've got from 3 p.m. to midnight for the Tulsa National Weather Service counties. So the Tulsa National Weather Service is these 7 right here. So we've got Benton, Washington, Crawford, Sebastian, Franklin, Madison, and Carroll County. Those are the 7 right there that the Tulsa Weather Service includes. Then you've got the Little Rock National Weather Service that includes Boone, Newton, parts of Johnson, but not in the lower terrain. I love how they do that. I really do. That is super helpful.
That is very helpful because the lower, areas are not going to see probably any
as much. Yeah,
they're not see as much that would reach advisory criteria. So it's nice that they're showing the spots that are a little bit more in the higher elevations and putting the winter weather advisories there rather than making the whole county a winter weather advisory.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be minor accumulation in Fort Smith. It's just because the temperature. The temperatures is what's causing.
Let's see what those temps are.
It's kind of eating away at our snow total. So we did drop off a little bit. And that's because the precipitation's a little heavier in Fort Smith at 39. 32 in Stigler, though. There's going to be some big flakes. There's going to be precipitation that's going to be a sleet mixture initially on the leading edge of the precipitation, but that might even change back over to rain and then change back over to snow.
And one important thing, too, to note, no freezing rain expected.
Yeah, no freezing rain because temperatures are above freezing.
Well above freezing. So if you see raindrops, they are normal raindrops. temps.
And not only that, but we don't have that warm layer of air aloft. That's dramatically above freezing. Now it might warm slightly, which is what's causing wet snowflakes as well.
There's always those one or two comments.
Yeah, that make you crack
that
up.
Make me crack up.
Snow in Prairie Grove. Well, let's check it out as we look at our Lincoln Weatherbug Network camera. So this is the fun type of snow. This is the Instagram snow where it snows. You can take some slow-mos of it.
It's definitely snowing.
It's snowing, and it's starting to accumulate on elevated surfaces.
And
but we're going to tilt down, and you're going to see that it's not accumulating on the roads now.
And here's the reason why it's starting to accumulate, even though the temperatures are well above freezing, because of the precipitation rates. It's falling so hard and so fast that it's able to overcome the warmer air and still accumulate on those grassy surfaces. But like you mentioned, Dan.
But once that lightens up and lets up and doesn't go down as heavy, then it's immediately going to start melting again.
Yep, exactly. And that's why when we were showing the snowfall maps, like from the HRRR, from the NAM 3 kilometer, those models, that were showing, heavier snowfall totals. I guess the NAM wasn't, but the HRRR. That's why snow depth is a better method of looking at your snowfall totals for a system rather than just straight snowfall accumulation.
Now look at that. Look at that.
Whoa.
This is cool. So you can see it's going to move here very shortly.
Yep.
And what you're going to see is, first of all, the difference between roads and secondary roads and sidewalks when they're warm. So everything's kind of a little bit above freezing. And so, there you've got it right there. Temperatures, we'll show you those. Well, we showed you those temperatures. We'll zoom in here a little bit more on the temperatures too.
Ricky asked a pretty good question, by the way.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
But there you see the snow. It's accumulating on rooftops. That cools off quicker. It'll accumulate on elevated surfaces, car hoods, car windshields. And then you can see right here. Let me close this out because I'm streaming it on both sides. That should make the stream a little bit smoother. Boy, that big old fat flakes in Lincoln. So I bet you Prairie Grove is getting it as well.
Big wet flakes.
Yep. So there you go right there. Come on. Let's go.
Lag.
Yeah, Lagville is right. It should kick in now. I'm calling the flakes fat as in P-H-A-T fat.
Thick.
Yeah.
2 C's.
Yeah. P-H-A-T.
Yeah.
If you like snow, that is. So the roads are fine. They're melting immediately. Roads definitely are above freezing. Sidewalks, they're melting immediately. Grass, though, it obviously is a little cooler. Rooftops are also accumulating. That camera, I think we might be streaming that somewhere else. Let's look at Mount Magazine again. Take a look here. We'll load this up.
It's like WSI wants to be slow all of a sudden.
Yeah, no kidding. There you go.
There you go.
So that's a mixture of rain now. You can see how that's also raining and snowing at the same time. So that's a rain-snow mixture. And that's that latent heat release that's taken over.
But you can see on that Bobby Harper.
Back to the question here.
Yeah.
Why is – I imagine this is the question that you're asking.
Yep.
Why is the map covered in green and it's not even raining? That is a very, very good question. And it has to do with dry air. So our relative humidity, Rick, is basically very low at the moment. And initially you have what's called dry air. And so you aren't saturated. But over time, that saturation begins to develop. And if we look at the relative humidities, as a matter of fact, I'll show you. Here's a look at the relative humidities. We're at 53%. So how can it snow over our heads, or how can it precipitate and it doesn't show up? It's because of the dry air that's in place. But remember, the radar beam is above the ground. So the radar is higher up above the ground, and that's why you're seeing that. Now, notice that Stigler and Fort Smith is getting close to 100% saturation, so that precipitation is a lot heavier.
And this is very similar to what happened on Friday, because I remember we had similar questions about that as well. You saw, green on the radar. You saw precipitation over your head, at least according to the radar. But it didn't snow until we became saturated. And once it did, it fell pretty heavy across here, and we had a quick dusting to half inch. So this is kind of a similar situation where we're dry right now, and eventually we'll start seeing those flakes reach the ground pretty heavy too. Another thing is, as well as it's also going to cool us
Here's
off.
an example. So
Yeah.
radar beam is in Fort Smith, and there's the snow over northwest Arkansas. And so this is kind of a cool graphic, but it'll show you what we've got. So there's the snow that's happening above our heads, and that dry air is evaporating the snow before it gets down to the ground. And so the radar beam is able to see it because it's about 4,000 to 7,000 feet above the ground. But then below that, you've got dry air and that's evaporating. Or if you want to be technically correct, it's sublimating those snowflakes. Because evaporation is liquid to gas and sublimation is a solid to gas. Yep. So that's why. I've got another one too that'll show you that as well. Another graphic. Now, how can it snow when it's above 32 degrees? We also get that question as well. So here's an explanation on that. We got cold air, but it's above freezing at the surface. And so essentially that doesn't tell you anything. There we go. Above freezing, so warm air, but then above that, you've got colder air. And so you're going to see that colder air that takes that snowflakes and it starts melting it a little bit, but some of those snowflakes don't essentially become all the way into liquid.
And here's the thing,
so that's why you get wet snowflakes.
And when you have all that cold air above our heads as well, and the snow's falling on it, it cools the air as it continues to fall. So that's why the temperatures are going to fall pretty rapidly this evening. Because we were well above freezing. We're still well above freezing in a lot of locations. But as that snow continues to fall above our heads, it will cool us off down here and eventually make us close to freezing.
I'm trying to type something up here. So let's go back to Mega Doppler here and we'll look at this. So a lot of precipitation that's popping up. And now there is a dry slot that's coming in, and the dry slot's going to kill that precipitation. And we're going to show, in fact, you can already see it starting to develop. Now, there's basically a very fine line, if you will, when the track of the system is so important. Because if it tracks right along the Red River, like we talked about last week, with the system that moves right over the Red River, what that does is that allows you to be at the nose of the dry punch in the mid-levels for a weather system, which is where you have your most intense lift. And so that's exactly what's happening in eastern Oklahoma right now. So if we take the radar and pan up to eastern Oklahoma, you're going to see that. So there you got, look at how quickly that evaporative cooling took over too. That cooled the column. Denver could get snow at 50 degrees in certain situations. I can believe that.
Mile high.
Because they're colder in the mountains, and the mountains will have that as well. And they get the cold air coming in that doesn't modify as much. So a lot of precipitation all across the area, some of it making it. Let me show you another graphic here. So where's the snow? This is another great example of a graphic. So here we have the radar and the radar beam. Some cars driving on the road. And so there's the snow falling out of the clouds. The radar beam sees that snow, but those snowflakes sublimate into dry air. But the more you sublimate those snowflakes, the more moisture that you're adding to the air, and therefore you're reaching saturation. And that allows for everything to make it to the ground eventually. All right. So let's look at those temperatures here. And let's take a detailed look at the temperatures real quick. Because I think we're starting to get more and more areas that are seeing precipitation. So here we go. Let's look at this real quick. So we're still in the lower 40s, Little Floss, Centerton, Bella Vista. We got to get those sites back up.
40 in Weddington.
40 in Weddington. Look at how cold it is, though, in the higher elevations. So that's why the higher elevations will be a little bit more an issue. So we dropped a little bit more.
That's interesting. We're already
look at Poto at 34. So
this is a little colder than what the models were showing at this time.
Yep.
And I think the reason for that is because of those heavier bands that are moving through above our heads.
Heavier bands of precip. So you're probably going, just cut with all of the scientific terms and all that stuff and just show us how much snow is going to fall. Well, why not? We'll show you our dust accumulation map. Now, keep in mind, snow accumulations are very tough to make. In fact, they're probably my least favorite thing as a meteorologist to do. Because when you predict precipitation in the summer or in the spring, when it's a warm season type storm, you don't say, you give a general range how much precipitation is going to fall, but you don't say it's going to be exactly 0.38 inches of precipitation at your house.
Yep.
You don't.
No, not at all.
But you do have to do that when you're making an accumulation map. That's because it's a liquid equivalent that can translate to the amount of snowfall.
And then here's what happens. In some areas get like banding. Other
Mhm.
areas get, the dry slot comes through and cuts off the moisture early. And that affects, certain areas and how much snow you get. So that's why when you look at a snowfall map, that's why we have a broad range of totals and not a specific total, because some locations could see, and most locations will see 0.5 to an inch of snow.
Yeah.
But an isolated area could see 2 to 3 inches as well if there's a heavier band moving through.
And we also include the potential if this system overperforms.
Yep.
If it overperforms and surprises us, which, hey, let's face it, weather can bring surprises, then what happens is we've got the higher end of the totals covered.
Yep.
So we do give that range. And terrain also, this is a really tough area to forecast winter weather because terrain makes a big difference, which is why we've got that bullseye in eastern sections of Northwest Arkansas. Snowing in winter. Thank you, Glenda, for that. Appreciate that report.
Nice.
Folks are going to be looking for them. There's lines in the sky now. Yeah, that's no totals. Now they're going to look for the accumulation. Yeah, not going to happen there. Let's see here. People like that. Will Cowboys fans' tears help saturation of the atmosphere? That might be why we're seeing more precipitation.
On a cold December night, you can hear the Cowboys cry.
All the way down in North Texas. Yeah.
Shout out Dudley Dawson.
There you go. Snowing in Fayetteville. All right, let's check out some of our weather cams.
Hey, you know what would be cool, Dan? Do you want me to go outside and maybe do a little stream out there?
Yeah, let's get it here. I'll get you set up.
Yeah.
There's this great shirt that says on a cold Wisconsin night, on a cold, quiet Wisconsin night, you can hear the bears cry.
And it has like a little bear
It
on
has
there.
a Chicago bear.
Crying. It looks like the crying Jordan meme.
Yeah, it's hilarious. When we get a weather alert for our phones, what is the meaning of the word aerial? Oh, that is a good question. Wow, that is actually a really good question.
That's a solid question.
That's a question you don't get every day. So, aerial means that there is a certain area that's covered. It's not a site-specific alert. So it's a broader area. Let me show you what we've got here as we bring up these weather graphics. And so there is a look at the winter weather advisory, Donna. And you can see that there's a large area that's covered.
Yes, sir.
But then there's also
yes, sir.
But then there's also this area that's in southern Logan County, and you can see how that's mainly Madison County, right? Or Mount Magazine, excuse me. That's the higher terrain of Mount Magazine, and then you got the higher terrain of the Ouachitas. And so those are those areas that are covered, and so that's why you get those different alerts. So
and I love
we
that
go
they do
back.
That's a great thing that they do that.
Yeah.
Too. Because like if you're in Boonville in the Valley, you're not going to see, likely winter weather advisory criteria, but just a little bit to the east of there in those in the Ouachitas, you definitely will.
And that also happens with flooding. You have aerial flood warnings, you have aerial flood watches, then you have urban. Urban is where you have, city, basically flooding that happens in the city. Let's go to some I Drive Arkansas cameras because now it's coming down a little bit better. So 12Z runs were showing more accumulation. Is that something to watch? They're showing about the same, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Yeah, they backed off. They typically do a pump fake. They totally removed all the precipitation. But honestly, I just want to make sure we weren't recording anything in the studio. They totally removed all the precipitation, and I didn't buy that at all.
Yeah, and the European, I think, is no longer the GOAT of long-range models right now.
It's kind of lost. It's like the Tom Brady of models. It is. It's kind of lost its mojo.
It's lost its mojo.
It's lost its mojo this year. Let's go to the GFS has been doing a little better. We're going to look at some other. Make sure there's no problems with the roads too. We can look at the traffic conditions. And I don't think there are. So I drive Arkansas is kind of cool. If you've never done it, you go to primary highways, winter weather, local roads. There's nothing. So not even anything covered at all. So you have nothing to worry about. Gray is totally clear. But let's bring up some of the weather bug cameras. Tom Brady's still in his prime. What do you think?
No, I do not think so.
Darren Lancaster, he says Tom Brady's still in his prime.
Maybe in his prime on the dating scene right now.
Well, yeah. Maybe so. Sprinkle at Sam's Club in Bentonville. So starting to see that precipitation beginning to fill in. So there's a Bobby Hopper tunnel. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Elevated areas. Now, which way is that? I don't see the road.
It's pointing south. You can faintly see the road.
Wait, what camera is that?
This is the tunnel tower cam.
Normally, that's a little. You can see the road. That's weird. Bring that back up. I want to see that. Maybe it's a different.
I can see the road like right there.
No, normally you see it going right through.
Oh.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, let me see real quick.
Did they switch sides?
I don't know. They might have. Let's see. Where were you at? Were you at this one? Okay, there's mile marker 39. Here's the tunnel cam. That's what. Yeah, they did.
They switched sides.
They did because look at what it normally looks like. You can see right when it initially shows up. So that's not a south view, is it? I thought this is the south view. That's the south view.
It's hard to tell because it's.
Or maybe it's not.
It's so snowy.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the normal way that it's supposed to point.
No, it doesn't. No, they turned it around for sure on that. So let's look at some other. Now, as you can see, roads are fine. We'll bring this up. We'll expand that out. Yes, sir. All right. So, all right, back up to Northwest Arkansas. Let's see if there's any issues here. How about
that? Would be an interesting one.
Nothing.
Looks like just rain.
Yep. And it looks slick, but it's way above freezing. So this is why we weren't worried about the road conditions. Salem Springs also, but that's about to change over here pretty soon as well.
Yep.
I know we're bouncing back and forth on these. Look how many cameras they have here. Very, very good system. Now, heads up, in the wintertime, this is just a friendly word of advice. North of 412, this is a horrible area for winter weather. That little turn right there is trouble.
That's deadly.
Okay, so Sam's now in Bentonville. Snow. I know it. I know it's snow. You're typing that in. No rain or wintry mix in Bentonville. This is great. We're getting a lot of reports. We appreciate it. Let's go to some other cameras here. Bella Vista.
I'm gonna head outside.
Okay, did you get the link?
I've not gotten the link.
All right, let me. You want to just take a photo of it, or do you want me to send it?
Yeah, I'll just take a photo of it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the top of the garage.
Okay. We will have to shut it down because I have to get ready for the newscasts. But ground temperatures, Katie, I think are too warm initially. So, I mean, it is snowing like crazy in spots, including Lincoln. Check out Lincoln. There is some grapple too. Yes, there absolutely is. But look, here's a great example of a warm season snow. Look, the roads are just wet. Now, the one thing that's interesting is that radiation from the sun, believe it or not, is still causing those roads to warm. It doesn't seem like it, and there's some trapped in heat on the roads because they're insulated. However, those roads will still get a little cooler when the sun goes down. And also we have a front as well. Yeah, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Here, let me show you something else too. So we're going to look at the wide range precipitation, and you can see the back edge of this is starting to move out already. So this is a quick moving system, and look at the dry punch that's coming in. So a very impressive dry punch that's pushing in. Now, some of the precipitation could lead to higher amounts on elevated surfaces, as we mentioned. But check this out. There's that dry air that's punching in. And with the low that's kind of organizing and taking that northeasterly track, that's going to be a little less. Hey, we got Josh Rugger. What up, Josh?
What up, Dan? Can you hear me?
I got you.
All righty, I'm walking out to the top of the garage now.
I can see it snowing. Now turn that phone sideways, by the way.
All right, here we go.
Don't do me wrong on that. There you go.
There we go.
No vertical video here.
No vertical video in this live stream. None of that trash.
All right.
So, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera here real quick.
All right. I know this is a process.
Yeah, this could be a process, but I'm going to get it done.
In the meantime, I'll show some weather graphics, okay?
All righty, sounds good.
All right. So I wanted to show the dry slot real quick that's coming in. Sounds like you're getting honks out there.
Yep. Attention. People need the attention.
Maybe Tom Brady is not the one that's in his dating prime right there. It could be you, Josh.
Uh-oh.
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 So here's a look at the system, and look at that dry air. Man, is that punching in. So, all right, Josh, your camera's back up. Let's go ahead and we'll bring that up.
Yeah. Check that out. Some fat flakes.
Yep. Are they melty? Are they partially melted?
They are partially melted. You can definitely tell as they're falling, but I'll say this, the winds picked up a little bit as well. I can really feel it.
Out of the northwest or out of the northeast?
Out of the northeast. Definitely. Okay. Definitely out of the northeast. Like when I point this way, I can feel it.
In your face?
In my face.
So that's looking southwest.
So I mean, it's still out of the southwest then.
Yep, that's still out of the southwest, right? That is, you're looking at University there, aren't you?
That is correct.
Yeah, you're on the far west side of. If you turn to the right, you'll see Old Main. Bingo.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
That's facing north right here.
Yeah. Man,
that dry air is coming in fast.
That's going to choke it all off.
I don't know if you see that. So the dry punch is where you need to be, right at the leading edge of it. If you want to know where the best snowfall is, it's right at the nose of the dry air. That's what we call mid-level dry punch. And then you can see that system that's churning. And by the way, a leading edge of it, this is where you get convective snows. This is where you get the CSI, conditional symmetric instability, slantwise convection. It's all right on the leading edge of the dry punch. But look at how that warm air and dry air in the mid-levels is lifting northward, Josh. Can you see that?
I can see that.
Vapor?
Yeah.
That is coming in fast.
Woo.
And so even though it initially doesn't look like it kills the snow, it does. And so that's going to be moving through here pretty quick.
Little old-fashioned Colby effect drive slot.
Yeah, the dry punch. And here's another thing too, is you can see the system lifting northeastward too. If we look at the track of the low, and this is why we kind of dropped a little bit of it. Allison says rain snow mix in Bentonville. So we got yours. Let's bring up some other cameras here. How about the Bentonville Square? We'll get a good view there as this loads. So there's the Bentonville Square. Kind of a little rain snow mix.
Ooh.
That's true. I mean, Josh is right. A heavy burst of snow can lead to a little bit of additional accumulation. Fat flakes out there. Yep. Figured that would be as much. Okay, so we have some questions about the drive. I just really don't think there's going to be many problems. The roads are melting the snow immediately. There might be a little bit of accumulation on the roads, and the evening commute could get slick, Josh. But we're not going to see that happen for the morning commute tomorrow. I just don't really see that.
Yeah, it could get a little slushy, but I don't anticipate any major issues. Now, if you're out there towards Newton County, maybe a few more issues on in the higher elevations. But that's another thing as well, Dan. I don't anticipate a lot of school closures tomorrow. I don't know if people have that yet, but that might be on somebody's mind.
Now let me show you what this has here. See, the temperature's hovering right around the mid-30s. There's that dry punch. Well, that was excuse you, Josh. No, I'm just kidding. It sounded like I don't know what that was, but you still there?
I'm still here, but you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think my phone is starting to get a
Freeze
impact. Freeze up. Yeah.
It's starting to freeze up. Well, come on back inside. All right, guys. Well, yeah, Josh, and it's just melted immediately. So yeah, you can see that. So here's that dry punch coming in right there at 4, 5, 6 o'clock. You can see how fast that system clears out. So yes, there could be a heavy burst of snow. It could lead to a little accumulation. Anytime the snowfall rates lighten up, you're going to have melting with this type of environment. So maybe it overperforms, but I still think around a half inch to about an inch. Roby knows what I was talking about. So look, there's a little bit of accumulation that's occurring on grassy surfaces, elevated areas, but the roads, absolutely fine. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. Let's look at the latest HRRR on the snow here. It's a good question. Let's check it out. So here's the very latest HRRR. Let's see what it shows. Yeah. Now here's the thing, Josh. You got to remember that HRRR is being generous. We'll see. It could happen. But this is taking all that precipitation and immediately converting it to accumulation. But you know that you've got impact, you got compaction, you got melting, you got sublimation, you got all those things that are happening ahead of time. Therefore, these amounts probably trend them down about a half inch. So I think a half inch to an inch is going to be about right. Josh, I'm going to let you take over here for a little bit while I get ready for the shows.
All right.
And then we'll shut this down here in about 5-10 minutes here.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Warm up.
I'm glad to be back here in the warmth. That's for sure.
Sounded like you were trying to create your own weather system out there. Let's just say that.
Was it?
It sounded like the Chick-fil-A was coming back.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I was wiping my phone like this, and that's why I
okay.
was doing that.
That's what
Yeah.
it was. I
Yep.
got you.
That's what it was. But I'll tell you, I mean, maybe
They all say.
a Taco Bell warning.
Oh man. There you go.
Fall blast breezy.
Oh, let's go.
Yes, sir. May have to have one of those tonight. Now to think about it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and look at Megadoppler right now because I find this interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I go outside, right? I'm checking out there. It's mostly snow. It's
Yeah.
mostly snow that's falling right now outside.
And it's
outside our
underdone
studio.
on the tornado warning.
Texas.
In Texas, yeah.
Not surprised. This is a powerful
This is a
system.
strong system.
This is a strong system. But you look at radar, and clearly it's still showing up as mostly rain in Fayetteville. So I found that pretty interesting.
I wonder what WSI is showing.
Was it a wet one, Josh? Said Roby. Yeah, to say the least.
He knows what.
I know what he's talking about. Yeah. Yeah, to say the least.
Okay, so here's, by the way, we got to switch this already to winter mosaic. You
Oh,
know
thank
that?
you, Christina, for the snowman tie.
Reflectivity type.
How about that?
Well, hold on.
There you go. Yeah, no, we're seeing it a little bit better there on WSI.
We have to change all those over.
Yeah.
And it's so early for this winter weather. Snow and crosses.
And we said this too, Dan. This does not count towards the winter outlook for
Yeah.
2022, 2023. This doesn't count towards the snows.
Yeah, that's a way to cheat the system.
Exactly. Exactly. Because technically, this is the second one. I mean, we're just getting started. Snowing crosses out past Elkins. Okay. Elkins getting reports of snow. Snowing heavy in Gentry now. Dan, I'm seeing more reports of snow than rain right now.
Look at
in
Lincoln's
Washington County.
weather book camera. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I'm not.
yeah, it's transitioning quick.
I just watched someone completely spin out pulling into the Fayetteville Mall, and it's only raining. Oh man,
goodness. That's what I
to-
was saying about the
Oh,
wet areas. Yeah,
that's a winter wonderland right there.
it is. But look at the sidewalks and look at the roads.
Nothing. It's the best kind of snow right here.
Instagram snow.
Yep. Best kind of snow, doesn't get on the roads, just stays on the grassy areas. And kids, do your homework, because you're probably gonna have school tomorrow.
Yep. My daughter's asking,
Yeah.
"Can you cancel school?" I'm like, I don't have that power by any means.
That's Arkansas for you. Talking about the person swerving.
Yeah. Hopefully they're okay.
Just, I mean, even when it's raining, you should be driving slower.
Yeah.
Because, you can hydroplane and slickness.
You have.
I've experienced it. Heading down to a storm chase. Went too fast and on the
Mount
interstate.
Magazine. Let's see what we got now. High up on the mountain.
Yep.
Over 2,000 feet. In fact, Mount Magazine is the highest location in Arkansas.
It's snowing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they saw this tie too, but this is this is an early season. This is a snow showers tie.
Yes.
And see the sun and the snow. That's exactly what we had. We had
Exactly.
sun today, and then now the
snow.
system's coming in.
And this is called overdoing it. You see these snowmen here?
Yep. They might be able to build a small snowman.
A small one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wet snow, which is the best type.
Yeah, that's the best packing snow.
Yep. It is the best type. So much for starting out as rain. It started out straight as snow here in Gentry.
Really?
Well, that's interesting.
There were some spots that it started off as rain. So, yeah, there was a pretty quick changeover. I would have to agree.
Yeah.
Now, there also was some sleet mixed in, too.
Do you think the roads will stay clear in Fayetteville? Yes. Mostly clear. Maybe a few slushy spots. Still dry in Osage. Okay. Says
Well,
Kevin Miller.
that's a little farther east.
A little farther east. So, yep. It'll eventually get saturated enough. Joshua Meyer said, also considering the compaction / melting issue, the 3-kilometer NAM might be a little bit more realistic, but I feel it has a moisture bias too.
Well, the NAM 3-kilometer was trash. Didn't show anything for Friday.
I've thrown that one out the window.
And it didn't show anything today either.
Kathy says she's wearing her Hawaiian shirt. I'm ready for a luau out here in all this snow.
Is a thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that we send to you from the land where palm trees sway. Now you know our Christmas will be green and bright, the sun to shine by day and all the
I don't know.
stars at night. Is a wise way. You tell me you've seen National.
I have
Christmas
seen National
Vacation.
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and I know what scene you're talking about. It's the dream scene
It's the dream
with the
scene.
pool.
Yep.
And good
you're-
old cousin Eddie out there in his speedos.
I love Chevy Chase's response too, because he's like, you see him like smiling, and then he like thinks of Eddie, and he's like,
It's like, get him out of here.
cousin Eddie.
Oh, cousin Eddie. I'll tell you what, that is definitely in my top 3 Christmas movies of all time.
Man, we were watching. So we decorated already our house, and now we got the outside partially decorated. But I'm glad we did too, because now we have the weather.
Let's go.
But however, just to let you know, they're gonna say we're talking about. Oh yeah, we watched Christmas movies last couple weekends ago. We watched Christmas Vacation. We watched Christmas with the Cranks and Elf.
Elf.
Elf
Yes.
is so good.
Love that one too.
I think the best person in Elf, of course, Will Ferrell, but the store manager. There's no singing in the North Pole. Yes, there is. No, there's not. Because my wife, I was whistling around the house, and I was like, She's like, there's no whistling in the North Pole. And I was like, yes, there is. She's like, no, there's not. I was like, yes, there is.
You guys are both playing the roles in Elf. That's great.
And then sometimes we call our daughter the angry elf.
She's an angry little
Yeah.
elf. And then he gets up.
Call me elf one more time. It's so good.
Oh, the one of the better scenes too is when he drinks the Coca-Cola and there's the like 15-second burp.
Oh
where
yeah.
It's just like, and he's just like, ooh, that was a big one.
Syrup in my coffee? I didn't think of that. Oh yeah, that's good too.
Woo! Let's go to this
It
one.
is coming down now
Yeah,
in Fayetteville.
Mount Sequoia.
So we've got the heavier snowfall that's happening.
Nice warm chili tonight for dinner.
Well, that sounds good.
Bring some here.
All righty, peeps.
So
Well,
if this is all snow instead of rain, what are we looking at accumulation wise on grassy surfaces?
grassy surfaces, it's still melting some.
It is
as
still melting.
as it falls. Look at the temperatures now. Let's see what we got. We're gonna get the new update.
Whoa, 34.
It's a little colder.
It's a little colder.
So here's the deal. If it gets down to 32, then we could be looking at 2 to 3
Yeah.
inches, like your original forecast. But that dry slot is
dry
coming.
slot's going to impact it. It's going to kill it, in my opinion.
But we'll see.
But we'll see.
Sometimes storm systems can
And
overperform.
I'll tell you what. Let's look here because you can see the dry slot on Mega Doppler. It's right here.
But that's a great example. Look at the roads. Nothing. Not a problem.
Nothing. Wind chill, said Roby.
That's a little colder.
That'll be a little colder. Yeah, I was feeling it, dude. I was like,
You were out there.
you notice when that started, the camera was still, and then as we got later, it was,
yeah,
that was me
it getting
shivering.
a little chilly.
Chilly.
Let's look at the wind chill.
Just rain in Springdale, says Jenna.
Really? Huh. That's interesting. Well, that's not on the. You're about to get snow.
Yeah, it's coming.
So let's look at the wind chill here. Wind chill is just WC.
Ooh,
What?
angry.
Oh, there's a few angries.
Angry.
He's an angry elf.
Call me Elf one more
Wind
time.
chill is 29. Oh yeah.
We are.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just doing Elf the musical right now.
Yeah.
Live performance.
I'll show you my dog in his sweater.
Oh, that's
Aw,
adorable.
Pupper. He looks ready to go for the snow.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay,
Snowing
snow.
and about to move out.
Rain only in Cave Springs.
Okay, so there is a mixture of rain and snow, and that's why we can't just say one location specifically.
Look at the dry slot.
Dry slot's coming,
It's coming.
but we might still get the back edge of
If the back
this.
edge comes in, dude, that's going to enhance our snowfall totals a little bit. But
It's
I
so
still
here's
doubt
the
it.
deal: you're gonna see this takes so long to evolve, and you're just like, oh man, what's going on here? Come on, we're not gonna do all that. Okay, guys, we got to shut this down. Newscast
Yep.
is coming up here shortly.
Yep.
So no counties are in a warning. All of Northwest Arkansas is in a winter weather advisory. Yeah, no, there's not
That's-
going to be.
There's
A
no
warning
warnings.
is over 4 inches.
Yeah.
And a warning also means higher impacts in terms of travel.
Here's something
So-
cool though that I'll mention real quick before we end this. With the warnings, there's different criterias for different weather service offices
Yeah.
in terms of that. So if you go to Denver, Colorado, the warning criteria is probably like over 2 feet or something like
It
that.
all depends on
Yeah.
our area is pretty much all the same criteria though.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully, we don't have Tulsa.
Yeah, that would be another
Should've
thing that
said.
would.
Now it's back to rain again. Oh, there we go. Snowing pretty good there. We'll leave that one. That's mile marker 45 looking south. All right. No snow at Walmart, huh?
No snow inside Walmart.
Oh,
Okay, so it could be snowing outside of Walmart, but not inside Walmart.
someone decorated this place. Must have been someone from higher up. This is a little too good. Trying to get for my job. Remember that guy?
Hey, is ice a concern?
Not
No.
when we're above freezing.
Nope. All righty. We are about to start the newscast, so I think we'll wrap this baby up. But do you think we'll do another Facebook Live or?
Yeah, we'll do
We'll
one
do
after the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll do another one after the 6 o'clock to give an update on the.
Yeah,
what we're
it'll be a
seeing.
little shorter.
Yeah. Oh, snow and rain mixed now in Springdale. So there you
Okay.
go. So, alrighty, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this baby up, but we'll be back on just after 6 o'clock. Stay safe out there, everybody, and we'll see you in just a moment.